Namaskar, I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Welcome to Global Scan and welcome to the new year 2021. In the previous episode, we took stock of all that made news in 2020. In this brand new episode of the new year, we continue the journey of Global Scan, tracking all major global developments of the week. Argentina becomes the first major country in Latin America to legalize abortion. Meanwhile, approval of post-Brexit deal marks the new chapter of relations between the UK and the European Union. And President-elect Joe Biden attacks President Donald Trump of the US for delays in vaccination process in the country that is worst affected by COVID. All that and more. First, the headlines. UK Parliament approves post-Brexit trade deal with EU. Parliament's lower house voted 521 to 73 in favour of the deal. Both sides look to begin a new chapter of relations just days before their divorce becomes a reality. Argentina legalizes abortion, first major country in the Latin America to pass the landmark legislation amid stiff opposition from the Catholic Church. Thousands erupt in celebration outside of Senate building in Buenos Aires. US Vice President-elect Kamala Harris receives Moderna Inc. COVID-19 vaccination live on television, urges public trust in the process. California extends the stay-at-home orders. Chile records its first case of UK variant of the coronavirus. Chinese citizen journalist Zhang Zhan sentenced for reporting early on COVID in Wuhan. 37-year-old former lawyer and citizen journalist Zhang Zhan sentenced to 4 years in prison in Shanghai. Michael Jackson's famed Neverland Ranch in California has finally sold for $22 million. Reportedly, legendary Mexican singer-songwriter Armando Manzanero dies of COVID-19 at 85. Wonder Woman 1984 pulls in $36.1 million at worldwide theaters over the Christmas holiday weekend. And first up, news from Europe. The post-Brexit trade deal between the UK and EU takes effect from today. After it was signed into law, Parliament overwhelmingly backed the agreement in a high-speed process on Wednesday, following the two sides reaching agreement on Christmas Eve. It takes the UK out of the EU's single market and customs union, but ends the possibility of tariffs on goods. UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson thanked MPs and said the destiny of this great country now resides firmly in our hands. Opponents say the country still will be worse off than it was while in the EU. Brexit happened on 31st January 2020, but the UK continued to follow Brussels trade rules until now. The EU Future Relationship Bill, bringing the trade deal into UK law, was backed in its first parliamentary stage in House of Commons by 521 to 73 votes on Wednesday, after Parliament was recalled from its Christmas break. The House of Lords passed it at third reading, its final stage, without a vote, and the Queen, who is spending the festive period at Windsor Castle rather than Sandringham because of coronavirus pandemic, gave the final approval, the royal assent. Moving on, Russian state investigators opened a new criminal case against Kremlin critic Alexei Navalny, accusing him of fraudulently spending public donations to organizations that he controls for his personal needs. Investigators accuse Navalny and other individuals of carrying out a fraud worth $4.81 million. Investigators say that he used the money to purchase goods and services and cover personal expenses such as overseas trips. Navalny is one of President Vladimir Putin's leading critics, and the Kremlin denied the charges against him. Now, in a big boost to immunization drive against COVID-19, UK has given emergency use license to Covishield vaccine developed by Oxford AstraZeneca and produced by Serum Institute of India, Pune. With this, chances of early and mass rollout of the vaccine in India have also further brightened, as its biggest producer is Serum Institute of India, Pune, that has already procured about 50 million doses. Let's now look at news from Americas. US President-elect Joe Biden criticized President Donald Trump's promise for swift coronavirus vaccine rollout. Biden said vaccination process has fallen behind expectations and warned that the next few weeks and months could be the toughest of the pandemic. The president-elect said that hospitals are already stretched beyond capacity and stressed that it could take years to vaccinate majority of people with the current rate of progress. Meanwhile, Biden affirmed that his new administration wants to significantly increase spending to expedite vaccine distribution and expand testing and provide appropriate funds to the states. And US Vice President-elect Kamala Harris received COVID vaccination live on television. While WHO calls the pandemic a wake-up call for the future, we put together some more COVID-related updates.
The COVID-19 pandemic is a wake-up call. Experts from the World Health Organization said during the final news briefing on Monday that scientists are learning now how to do things in a better way. Executive Director of the WHO's Health Emergencies Program, Mike Ryan, said that the already severe pandemic can be followed by other infections. The comments came as some parts of the world face the mutation of coronavirus. Calling it a wake-up call, Ryan said that the world is now learning how to make better use of science and technology. WHO technical head on COVID-19, Maria Van Kerkhove, said, "The world cannot lose the battle now." She called for more resolve to end the pandemic amid cases of the new strain of the virus. US Vice President-elect Kamala Harris received the Moderna Inc. COVID-19 vaccination live on television on Tuesday and urged public trust in the process. While her choice of hospital highlighted the plight of the hard-hit African-American community. The Biden team has put particular emphasis on the importance of encouraging vaccine distribution. However, Biden and his team have warned that the vaccine will take time to roll out to the general population and urged people to listen to the advice of medical experts to avoid infection by the coronavirus. In the United States, California has extended the stay-at-home orders for Southern California and San Joaquin Valley, where intensive care unit capacity is strained due to surge in COVID-19 cases. Authorities have put strict limitations on businesses and activities with personal services, hair salons, and barbershops to be temporarily closed. The order also bans gatherings of any size. The two regions will continue to be under restrictions until ICU capacity shows projection above or equal to 15%. California's governor has said that state has sent additional teams to help hospitals in Los Angeles, where the growing hospitalizations were concerning. In the past few weeks, the state has witnessed an increase of over 36% hospitalizations. In Boston, in the United States, COVID-19 vaccinations were rolled out on Monday for residents of long-term care residents. A week after the inoculation of citizens other than the healthcare workers, the vaccination program was kicked off at the Edgar P. Benjamin Healthcare Center in Boston and is being carried out under a program led by Walgreens Boots Alliance Inc. and CVS Health Corp. US is the most affected country by COVID-19 in the world. While cases in the country are nearing 2 crores, over 3,17,000 Americans have died from the virus so far. Chile has recorded its first case of the UK variant of coronavirus. The government is prompted to reinstate a mandatory quarantine period for all visitors entering the country from abroad. Chilean Public Health Services informed that a Chilean passenger arrived on a flight from Madrid and tested positive after taking a COVID-19 PCR test at the airport. South Africa's total coronavirus infections since the first case in March crossed 1 million on Sunday, its health ministry said, just days after a new, faster-spreading variant was confirmed to be present in the country. The grim milestone days after the country, the worst hit in Africa, reported 900,000 cases. The country had taken 2 weeks to reach 900,000 from the 800,000 seen early in December. Several hospitals and medical centers have reported wards overflowing with patients, with many healthcare workers cancelling their vacations to tackle a huge influx of patients. Israel entered its third national lockdown since the start of the pandemic to beat back a resurgence of COVID-19 from the 27th of December. The lockdown rules restrict movement and limit public transportation to 50% capacity. Meanwhile, educational institutions along with workplaces will remain open with certain limitations. However, health officials have expressed optimism that the latest lockdown restriction will be the nation's last as it steps up its vaccination drive. Health Minister Yuli Edelstein has said that 280,000 Israelis had already received the first dose of the vaccine in the first week of the nationwide inoculation program.
In a major development, Argentina became the first major country in Latin America to legalize abortion when the Senate voted early on December 30th to allow it through the 14th week of pregnancy in the face of opposition from the influential Catholic Church. The fiercely contentious vote, passed with 38 in favor, 29 against and 1 abstention, came after a marathon debate. As the result was read out, a crowd of thousands erupted in cheers outside of the Senate building in Buenos Aires, waving green flags that represented their campaign as green smoke rose above the crowd. Until now, Argentine law has only allowed abortion when there is serious risks to the health of the mother or in cases of rape. Pro-choice groups argue that criminalizing abortion harms women from most vulnerable groups, who they say are instead often forced to seek dangerous, illegal abortions. Across the region, abortions are available on demand only in communist Cuba, comparatively tiny Uruguay and some parts of Mexico. The first Boeing 737 MAX flight in the United States flew on Tuesday from Miami to reach LaGuardia in New York after a 20-month safety ban was lifted. Boeing 737 MAX was banned from flying in March 2019 for 20 months following 2 lethal crashes in a period of 5 months that killed a total of 346 people on board. The ban was lifted by the Federal Aviation Administration last month after the plane maker agreed to software upgrades and new safeguards on a key flight control system linked to both the fatal crashes. The flight between Miami and New York follows flight control updates, maintenance work, fresh pilot training and town hall meetings with the flight crew to walk them through the Boeing's changes and address the concerns. The video of lava flowing inside of Halemaumau crater of the Kilauea volcano has been released 1 week after it erupted on Hawaii's Big Island. The Hawaiian Volcano Observatory had recorded an earthquake of magnitude 4.4 m beneath the Kilauea volcano's south flank as the epicenter on December 20th. According to United States Geological Survey, the eruption started with multiple fissures opening on the walls of Halemaumau crater. It said that it is the most activity seen at the volcano since 2018. The video showed that the western fissure vent was still active. The lava continued to erupt in the crater. Let's now shift focus to news from Asia. A court in China jailed a citizen journalist for 4 years for her non-sanctions reporting from Wuhan as the COVID-19 outbreak unfolded earlier in 2020. Zhang Zhan was sentenced at a brief hearing in Shanghai court for allegedly picking quarrels and provoking trouble during her reporting at the chaotic initial stages of the outbreak. Zhang Zhan is a former lawyer who traveled to Wuhan in late January, early February of 2020. Her live reports, essays were shared on social media platforms in February that grabbed the attention of authorities. In Japan's Tokyo, scores of flights were cancelled as heavy snowfall hit several areas of the country. Japanese Prime Minister Yoshihide Suga has urged people to celebrate New Year quietly and avoid non-essential outing, especially amidst the twin crisis. Japan Airlines and all Nippon Airways cancelled or planned to cancel a total of around 140 flights, a public broadcaster NHK reported, adding that a bullet train had been suspended services in some parts of northern Yamagata prefecture. People have been asked to stagger visits to shrines, traditionally popular destinations, over New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And now all the action from the world of sports.
India defeated Australia by 8 wickets and with a day to spare in the second test match in Melbourne to level the 4-match series at 1-1. Australia were bowled out for 200 early on the 4th day, leaving India needing only 70 to win at the MCG. India managed to get the runs needed in the 15.5 overs despite losing 2 early wickets. A 51-run stand between Ajinkya Rahane and Shubman Gill ensured the visitors got home comfortably. India's Virat Kohli claimed 2 prestigious awards at the ICC Awards of the Decade. Kohli has been named as ICC Men's ODI Player of the Decade as well as Sir Garfield Sobers Male Cricketer of the Decade. India's Virat Kohli claimed 2 prestigious awards at the ICC Awards of the Decade. Australian batsman Steve Smith was named ICC Men's Test Player of the Decade. Steve Smith amassed 7,040 runs in the last decade with a breathtaking average of 65.79. He scored 26 centuries and 28 50s in this period, in what has been a roller coaster of a ride for the Aussie maestro. Rashid Khan took home the ICC Men's T20I Cricketer of the Decade award for taking 89 wickets at an average of just 12.62 apiece, with an economy rate of 6.14 runs per over in 48 matches during the decade. These are more wickets than anyone else despite starting in 2015. MS Dhoni won the ICC Spirit of Cricket Award of the Decade, chosen by fans unanimously for his gesture of calling back former England batter Ian Bell following a disputable run-out at Trent Bridge in 2011. Former Indian captain and wicket-keeper batsman Mahendra Singh Dhoni has ruled the ICC teams of the decade in the limited overs. Indian tennis player Sumit Nagal has been named a singles wildcard entry for the first Grand Slam of 2021, the Australian Open in Melbourne. Former world number 1 Andy Murray has been handed a wildcard for February's delayed Australian Open. The Scots' ranking of 122 is too low to qualify directly for the Australian Open main draw. Roger Federer will miss the Australian Open for the first time in his career as he continues his recovery from a knee injury. The 20-time Grand Slam winner has not played since January, having had 2 operations on his right knee. He had hoped to return at the tournament in Melbourne, which starts on 8th February.
And let's now find out what happened in the world of cinema and showbiz this week.
Michael Jackson's famed Neverland Ranch in California has finally sold, more than 10 years after the death of the pop star who abandoned the property following his trial on charges of molesting a young boy there. Billionaire investor Ron Burkle, a former family friend of Jackson, recently bought the sprawling 2,700-acre, 1,100-hectare estate, his spokesman said on Thursday. The Wall Street Journal said the estate, which was renamed Sycamore Valley Ranch several years ago, sold for $22 million, according to public records. In 2015, the asking price was $100 million, and in 2017, it was relisted for $67 million. Mexican singer-songwriter Armando Manzanero, famed for his romantic ballads that was sung by an array of international stars, has died. President Andrés Manuel López Obrador said on Monday. He was 85. During a 7-decade career, Manzanero won a Grammy, recorded dozens of albums, scored numerous films, and composed more than 400 songs, including Somos Novios, We Are Lovers, and Contigo Aprenal, With You, I Learned. Wonder Woman 1984 pulled in $36.1 million at worldwide theaters over the Christmas holiday weekend and boosted streaming viewership on HBO Max, Warner Brothers said on Sunday, as it confirmed plans for a third film in the superhero franchise. An estimated $16.7 million of the box office total came from US and Canadian theaters. That ranked as the highest domestic opening since the COVID pandemic shuttered theaters in March, though the numbers were a fraction of usual receipts for a big-budget action flick. 2017's Wonder Woman film opened with $103.2 million domestically. With 2/3 of North American theaters closed, Warner Brothers opted for an unusual arrangement, making Wonder Woman 84 available at the same time to US customers of AT&T's HBO Max streaming service. Pixar animated movie Soul, which had been set to hit theaters in November, will instead debut on the Disney streaming service on Christmas Day. Walt Disney Company Disney said on Thursday, Soul will play in cinemas only in markets where Disney Plus is not currently available or will not be soon. The company said in a statement, Disney is testing new ways to release first-run movies. While the coronavirus pandemic limits attendance at theaters, particularly in the United States, the company is trying to attract more customers to Disney Plus, which has signed up more than 60 million subscribers worldwide.
And now some stories from a more intimate world around us. Sometimes curious, sometimes inspiring. Stories beyond headlines.
A spa in Egypt's capital Cairo is offering a one-of-its-kind massage therapy using reptiles, especially snakes, to its customers. The spa is offering snake massage in which reptiles slither on the backs and faces of customers looking for pain relief. Several snakes crawl on the back of the bodies of customers as they enjoy the relieving session. It is one of its kind and is certainly not for the faint-hearted. Archaeologists in Pompeii, the city buried in a volcanic eruption in 79 AD, have made the extraordinary find of a frescoed hot food and drinks shop that served up the ancient equivalent of street food to Roman passerby. Known as Thermopolium, Latin for hot drinks counter, the shop was discovered in the Archaeological Park's Regiovi site, which is not yet open for the public and unveiled on Saturday. Traces of nearly 2,000-year-old food were found in some of the deep terracotta jars containing hot food, which the shopkeeper lowered into a counter with circular holes. The front of the counter was decorated with brightly colored frescoes, some depicting animals that were part of the ingredients in the food sold, such as a chicken and 2 ducks hanging upside down. A huge crowd gathered in the center of Moscow as thousands of lights illuminated the Russian capital ahead of the New Year celebrations. Despite coronavirus restrictions, crowds admired the lights around the capital's famous landmarks. Britain's Prince Harry and his wife Meghan thanked essential workers and offered encouragement to people who suffered during the 2020 coronavirus pandemic in their first podcast released on Spotify. Harry and Meghan, known officially as the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, host the episode, which features reflections and hopes for the new year from singer Elton John, producer and actor Tyler Perry, tennis champion Naomi Osaka, and other celebrities. In excerpts released by Spotify, the couple thanked healthcare and frontline workers and others who made sacrifices during a challenging year. Mexico's Zacanga Ecological Park is celebrating the birth and good health of Nile hippopotamus baby who is growing up under the watchful eye of his mother. The male hippo was born in July, and at the time of his birth, zoo officials said he had only a 15% chance of survival due to the fact that his mother Tamba had trouble feeding her previous offspring. But the baby pulled through, and now zoo officials were celebrating his growth and the fact that he is eating solid food.
As we conclude this edition of Global Scan, we leave you with the images of the week. Once again, from the entire team of Global Scan, a happy, safe and healthy new year. Namaskar.